On this episode of China Uncensored, this isn't the response I'd expect from a fatal drunk driving accident. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Now, for me, this is one of the more bizarre stories I've come across, and it really shouldn't have been. On May 3rd in Pasadena, California, a suspected drunk driver collided with and killed a Chinese international student. Duan, the 21-year-old student, died at the scene. His passenger and the drunk driver were both hospitalized in serious condition. Now, to me, this is a tragedy. Apparently, though, that's not what a lot of Chinese netizens took from it. You see, Duan was driving a Ferrari. I know it's hard to tell from that photo. That's a $230,000 car. Not a lot of people in China can afford that. And since this kid was studying abroad, that means his parents probably have money. It's very common for the children of rich officials and businessmen to study abroad. They're called fu or die. The term means the second generation of the rich, and they're often stereotyped as being spoiled and arrogant, and are the source of a lot of resentment. You may remember an episode I did about a fu or die who threatened to kill a security guard who wanted to put her purse through a metal detector. So after this story broke, instead of the response I expected from the news that a Chinese national was killed in the United States by a drunk driver, many netizens responded with vitriol directed at the Chinese kid. Many assumed that the reason Duan's father's name wasn't being revealed was probably because he was an official and didn't want an investigation. Some were particularly cynical. China ranks alongside third world countries in GDP per capita, and yet if you've paid any attention to the news, you know that China's economy has been booming over the last 20 years. But that money isn't really making the rounds. It tends to get stuck in the hands of a disgustingly rich elite. Remember, $14.5 billion of assets were recently seized from friends, family, and associates of Zhou Yangkang, and that's just one corrupt official. But the ever-growing gap between rich and poor is getting filled with extra gooey bitterness. I think this comment sums up the feeling pretty well. When you see the sons of those public security bureau chiefs and bank presidents live lives of debauchery, when you see that the money is the blood and sweat money us tax-paying masses handed over to the national treasury to help build up the country, when you see these things, only then will you understand why the domestic population has these feelings. Of course, not all were like that. Many noted the extreme cynicism and desensitization the majority of commenters were displaying. But what do you think of their response? Were they being unreasonable, or does it have something to say about the gap between the haves and have-nots in China? Leave your comment below, or you can check out the China Uncensored Facebook and Twitter page. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.